everyone, I'm Steve. Mark's around. Say hi, Mark.
Hey everybody!
And this is Smokey, Steve, and Mark. Either welcome or welcome back. And happy Saturday. It is the weekend, so we know what that means. It is a little late in the day, so we have switched to Diet Coke. Actually, Coke Zero, I think. The coffee earlier was very good, and I needed quite a bit of it, so I hope everyone's doing well. I hope everybody is safe. Look after yourselves, okay? It's challenging times for 1,000 reasons. So today we are going to revisit our fair lady, Chantal Marie, Foodie Beauty, Big Beautiful Me, The Daily Chantal, Chantopolis, The Chantal Show, The Chantal and Pete's Beezer Hour something, and then it's Foodie Beauty again. She's had a interesting week.
Boy, has she!
Just a couple of points, came up. And we're gonna discuss that, and we'll see what we can parse from her activities this week and what she's chosen to share with us.
I can hardly wait.
Yeah, well, we'll see in a bit. Okay, maybe. Mark's hiding in the garden because he can't stand to see this. So last week where we left off, again, we're doing lives, all lives. The name change to the Chantal Show was like 2 minutes long for a little bit. There was an issue a lot of people took issue with where she was ordering food while she was driving and apparently had taken her hands off the wheel. And that put a lot of people off for a lot of reasons. You could probably imagine if you're looking at it from both sides, you could probably understand why people were mad with distracted driving. Lots of beesin and boy talk. There was a huge loss of subscribers that happened over the week. There was 300 to 500, and then going into this week, there was another 600 or so. I believe she was at 87.1 at her highest number of subs, and now it's about 86,000 even. But I haven't checked it in like an hour or two. So the bleeding may have stopped. I don't know. And walks, which I love. She was going on walks. It's something different. It's something to do. It's healthy. It's a change of pace. It's outside. And it's just something different. It's something else to do. So, going into this week, well, there's some sexual activity on tap. Just a little bit. Some recreational substance use. There was a flashing, apparently by accident as well. And Karate Joe got chopped. Okay. So, we are going to pick up where we left off, which is like last weekend. So, the first video I have is Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious something. Okay. This is a 4-hour live. So, you have, as we know, we're going to hit some high points and then like through the rest of it, okay? So, in this live, she's wearing the good dress, which is the new good dress, not the pink skater dress, the new good dress, with the white, with the flowers on it. 3,000 highs, because it's, alive. She said she is not beezin'. She is not beezin'. But she didn't clean, as she's been promising for really months at this point. And then as we get towards the end of the week, it doesn't happen then. I think it's supposed to happen tomorrow, but this was last week, so I don't know. She is talking to a new gentleman. And then, well, she did take some edibles, but she's not going anywhere. So I guess that's okay. Zoom. What else did we have? The cat came by a lot. Like a whole lot. The tail was going past back and forth. But I guess that's okay. She's got the excitement of meeting somebody new, which is the fun part of meeting somebody new. The getting to know you, the infatuation, the fun part. And she's enjoyed quite a bit of it because she's been getting to meet a number of different folks, at least online. I don't know about in person. She's met at least a few in person, but so Zoom. People are asking for different content, so she's fishing for their ideas. Someone said more makeup tutorials. I think she does a nice face of makeup. I'm a guy. I don't know the ins and outs of makeup, but her makeup is certainly transformative. I'll say that. This Zoom had a lot of silence, and not necessarily just, not this Zoom. I work on camera too much. This live had a lot of staring at the camera, and not necessarily to read comments. It felt like it was just staring this way. Like maybe she was looking at herself a little bit and she got lost, like you get lost in the mirror when you're high. I don't know, but it kind of felt like that a little bit. So questions started coming in and she was kind of answering them. Someone said, why are the edibles all of a sudden? Like out of the blue. I remember she had done a few on camera when they first moved into the new place, and there was kind of a novelty. I mean, it's kind of like, oh, what's this one going to be like? Get a few drinks in them and see what happens, And I have to admit, it's interesting to see how some people react to certain recreational substances used safely. Because you're curious, like, wonder if they'd loosen up. I wonder if they do karaoke. I wonder if they're a madman on the dance floor if they get a few in them. And I guess you could substitute edibles for that. There's people that drink that aren't alcoholics, just like there's people that, use recreational legal THC that aren't potheads necessarily, or other derogatory, whatever you would use towards that. Chantal's use is a little bit different, though. The frequency, the amount she uses is a little high. And she explains that as phases she goes through where she does a bunch of drugs. So she was pretty concrete and clear about how she described it. She says, it's legal, though. It is. A lot of things are legal that can be dangerous to us. My drug of choice was alcohol, and it was legal. And I got real close to death, did quite a bit of damage, and the most damage I did was not really to myself. It was the potential damage I could have caused by a behavior she did, allegedly, a little bit later in the week. If nothing else, what she did is a cautionary tale to all of us. So, she's just getting more and more stoned as it's going on. Like, you can time it. Like, about half an hour, 40 minutes in. If she's not lit on camera, she is. The lives that are 4 hours long, she's baked, usually. Someone said, seems your happy spark is missing. And Chantal, glazed over, said she feels like that's not true, that there's a bigger spark in some way. It depends on your perspective, how you frame that. I can see that there's something obviously different about Chantal. Her usual cycles around food mukbangs, this isn't part of it that I've seen. I've been following her for a couple years. I know she's been on a lot longer. But this whole series of lives, the showing of her, either she's always been like this and she just never filmed it, or she's turning it on for the camera, or she's just had a change of how she wants to live her life, and she's documenting it, and she's willing to say, if you don't like it, bye-bye, go away. So I have her up here because I'm obsessed. So I don't know, people's perception of her change in behavior is causing a rift. She doesn't seem to like feedback against it, even from people who know her or have known her for a long time. Maybe just in the YouTube world, like mods and names that come up in her chats a lot. I've heard names like, well, I don't want to drop names, they're not in my chat. Except Karate Joe. I didn't like him, I didn't like him for her, I didn't think he was nice, whatever. So then she gets the munchies and has some bean dip and chips, and then her plans for tomorrow, she's gonna clean the house. And then she decides to go lay down. Next video, well, hello there. She's in the Craft t-shirt. I like The Craft. When I was the movie, I thought when I was in high school I was somewhere between Fairuza Balk in The Craft and Daria, the spin-off from Beavis and Butthead. I thought I was so cool and so subversive. If only I had known. It's another beautiful day outside, and she had a good morning wink wink because she talked to a certain somebody from Croatia. We're not moving there at this point, I guess. She's going to go back to eating once a day and not eating with the munchies. That could be kind of hard. She feels like there's something being awakened in her. She's just taking a bite out of life and letting the juices run down. Something. I don't know. And people have awakenings. They do. And she's around midlife. I guess, she can have one. It just seemed like it was so extreme and so sudden. Like there was no subtlety to it. And was she ever like this? It seems like she got together with Pete at a relatively young age. And then back to back with BB because those relationships overlapped. So she wasn't alone in the interim period, and now she is. Well, I can see why she said she has concerns with Pete's being there. She feels tied down because she's still not alone. She still doesn't have whatever level of independence she wants, at least not as far as her living situation. And she tolerates it, I think, and so does Pete's. But so, she also decides that cleaning the house is a workout. That's a workout. So people are giving her healthy food ideas. Zoom, save it. She knows healthy food. All fat people know what healthy food is. For the most part. Some people need serious nutrition education. And if there's diabetes on the radar, people who have specialized conditions that need to be managed by their diet need that education more than some of the rest of us do. You can't just read the side of the cereal box and think you're going to figure it out. My father has type 2 diabetes. It takes a little extra work to keep yourself healthy when there's stuff wrong with your body. Oh, let's not even say wrong and shame. Let's say different with your body. So it's not insurmountable. It's not a boulder to push uphill, but it's a little bit of a different way to live. Just a little. Just a little different, okay? So what's for breakfast? Going to Starbucks for a coffee, then going for a walk. And then she takes her meds on camera. Amberlyn Reed, I've noticed. I've done 2 videos on Amber ever because I don't follow Amber. I don't know enough to comment. And I don't have the energy to dive in. Her life drama is so complex that I can't. I just can't. And I won't. She takes her meds on camera too. I take a lot of meds. I have bipolar disorder. You know, don't hide your surprised face. And I take quite a bit of medication to help manage it. And luckily, I respond to treatment pretty well. Been very lucky in that way. But also, I take my meds. It's not private. It's not like, you know, using the bathroom or anything. But I would usually do it before or after I had company over. You know, it would, like, going on a live, it kind of feels like you're seeing my life, and I take meds as part of my life. So I get that side of it, too. But also, it would be like, let me wait till I have a house full of people to go into the medicine cabinet and show everyone that I'm taking my meds. It's a personal thing. That's not, like, you know what I mean? So, I don't know. So she gets in the car and drives to Starbucks. Now, this was brought up, and I take this thing a little... maybe seriously, more than most, because it was something that impacted my life, and I could have impacted other people's lives. She got really blazed the night before. She gets up in the morning. What is morning for Chantal? She keeps a very irregular sleep schedule than the rest of us do. Is it possible she was still intoxicated when she got in the car in the morning and went to Starbucks? I can't say how she was feeling that morning. Steve, can tell you on a number of occasions, and my drug of choice was different. So we're not saying actually the same. We're saying similar. I would drink so much the night before I'd wake up drunk in the morning. And I would still have to go to work. And I would be drunk. Just because I didn't have a drink in the morning didn't mean I wasn't drunk in the morning when I got up. And I remember back in the day going to bed after imbibing in some Mary Jane. And I would go to bed and my bed felt super comfortable. And I'd wake up and it was like a rubber mat that had like my own sweat and twisted sheets all over it. Things that, you know, I didn't feel up waking good. When I did feel up wake up feeling good, I was still high, you know, or I was still drunk. So I won't make accusations, but it's a good lesson for all of us if we're going to use any substance. And THC is harder to gauge with a DUI or with driving recklessly. And almost nobody, I would say, who drives under the influence intends to kill anybody. It's not through precision driving under the influence that you're like, hey, I'm a great intoxicated driver. You know, I never killed anybody doing it. It's not like, I don't know how to explain this. If you watch any of my videos, you've seen that I've been in jail. A lot of you guys only come on Saturdays, and it's good to see you. But the rest of my videos, we talk about our life and stuff, and I've been in jail. In 2008, I had 2 driving while under the influence charges back-to-back within 6 months. One in the state of New York and one in Pennsylvania. I did jail time for both, and I had probation, treatment court, the Lindsay Lohan alcohol bracelet, all that stuff. Fines, costs, everything. And I earned it. That was all my consequences. And I finished all my consequences. It wasn't my intention to hurt anybody, or to kill anybody, or to run over a rabbit. But... you know, things can happen if I'm distracted, if I'm not on my best game. And it's irresponsible for anybody to get behind the wheel of a car if they're not in good shape to drive. It's selfish, it's reckless, somebody could get killed, it's a stray bullet. You know, I was a stray bullet flying down the interstate. And you go into 12-step meetings and people say, God was looking out for you. Hell no! God was looking out for the other 80 people on the interstate that I could have killed for my own selfish, stupid, reckless decisions. Okay? I'm hot on the topic because I still carry a little anger with myself about being so reckless and so stupid. I was sick at the time. That explains it, but... and I've paid all my debts and everything that the government and society has asked me to do to make good on it. And I don't drink now. But, you know, those risks and that carelessness just still sometimes creeps back on me. Not that I haven't forgiven myself, but it kicks up dirt with me when that happens. So again, not saying anything she did, but I'm saying it's a lesson to all of us to be cautious, because that was the discussion that got brought up around her video. How's that? So, zoom. She said, I'm a pathetic train wreck when it comes to my love life. Well, yeah. But you're not alone. That's a lot of people, you know. And then she asked the subs to pick what drink she should get at Starbucks. Zoom, zoom. Boy talk about the guy who likes her butt. We remember him from last week. Zoom, zoom. She's going to go to Starbucks, go for a walk, and then get groceries. She gets her Starbucks drink. It's not sweet enough. There's 5 pumps of something, and it was not sweet enough. She mixes it. It's a little better. She has to work out so she can go on her Euro vlog trips. Is Croatia going to be a stop? You know, if he's 6'7" with big hands, I'll make Croatia a stop. Mark can come with me. We'll all go. You, me, we'll all go. 6'7". I have a friend whose husband is 6'9". I just can't imagine it. I'm always the tall one. In any of my previous relationships, I've always been the tall one. Well, Mark's 5'9", 5'8". I'm 6 feet tall, so I'm always, you know, bigger. Next video, walk. So she's at a regular spot. She's debating walking twice up the hill to make up for the beesin, the eating, the munchies. Someone said, why don't you find a local place to walk? Why do you drive an hour away? And she said, I know. Now, Ms. Huzzy, if any of you are familiar, his suggestion, which he may have gotten from somewhere else or may have come up on his own, I don't know, but I heard it from his mouth. What else is she doing when she's driving the hour to go to that place? Because she's gone to the place to go walk, dressed up, date ready, you know, and hey, exercise and date ready makeup and an outfit. There's no reason you shouldn't look good. But it's not, you know, I mean, let's say she was out of clean clothes. Okay, so she puts on the Elvira top to go walking. That doesn't mean she has to put on a full face of makeup to match it, though. So is she going somewhere else when she's doing it? And is she doing something else other than walking when she's going an hour away? Is she seeing other gentlemen? Is she visiting with family? Is she binging somewhere in secret? Whatever it is, it's been off camera. So, but it seems a little suspect. A little suspect. It seems like stuff's being left out. So, well, you know, we'll see. We'll see. And then it's, again, very defensive of the Beeson and the Mary Jane. People are not so happy about it, and she's become regularly defiant in the lives, kind of saying, if you don't like it, I don't know what to tell you. She doesn't say, if you don't like it, get out, too often. She might have said it a few times, but she'll trail off and say, if you don't like it, you know what, ... Because she's saying it to people that are really probably longtime subscribers, almost as close to friends as you can get, being friends with folks maybe you haven't met. And that's rough. I mean, that's a change in a person's social situation. And what's going on in the person's life that's instigating that change? What are people saying? This is different and we don't like what's going on with you. Or this is different and we're concerned for you. That kind of stuff. So, stretching. She's stretching. Okay, she's stretching on the car. Okay. And she finds fur on the bumper. She believes rabbit fur, suggesting she ran over a rabbit. Now, when you take all this together, you have Chantal, the intoxicated driver, running over wildlife. When you put it just like that. Did she hit a bunny because she was high when she was driving? Did she hit a bunny? I don't know. Again, her choices that morning to drive after being intoxicated the night before are a cautionary tale for the rest of us. And if it needs to be one, she knows whether or not, what condition she was in. Or maybe if she doesn't, she should check herself. If she does, she knows if she was okay or if she wasn't. So, I don't know. I've hit 2 deer and almost hit a bear. Those are kind of big. But I wasn't impaired while I was doing it. The one deer I hit was already dead, too. She said she feels like shit and she didn't mean to. It was an accident. Yeah, I know. I've hit squirrels, too. Zoom, she goes for a walk. No body shot. We don't get a from the side body shot. Because Chantal was deceptively thin. Not thin, but slimmer looking from the front than from the side. She does look like she's losing weight. You know, gotta call a spade a spade. It looks like she's losing some weight. She does a weigh-in a few videos, and she did lose a little more, but next video, dinner. I committed to myself I would not watch 4 hours of her getting high. It's not good for me. I don't think it's good for an audience to watch. I'm not I'm not passing judgment, but I don't know it's... Okay, I'm passing judgment. I don't know that it's good for her to sit 4 hours there, totally stoned, and talking. So, like I said, it's a novelty. Sometimes it's like, I wonder what Chantal would like be like high. And then you see it. And then you see she's giggly, goofy. Some folks would say arguably more likable because she's more lighthearted and she takes things maybe a little less seriously and stuff that usually would wind her up and get her on the community board. Hate texting. She's kind of able to go like this. And that's a nice part of this attitude change and awakening she's having. Is it artificially induced by THC? Eh. Do they make medical marijuana to help with depression? Yes! You know, you can look into these things. These are things that can be researched. These are things that could be helpful. It doesn't have to be eat 1,000 edibles so I feel nothing. It could be research in alternative medicine other than maybe the pill she's taking, or something in combination with, or talk to a doctor. There's a lot of ways people get well. There's a lot of ways people who feel like shit and can't handle their lives get it together and take care of themselves and do the things they want to do. You know, it doesn't have to be therapist pill, but it can't be nothing. And not the goddamn lemon grape fast, or whatever the fuck that was, or the medium who channels diet tips. Like, I know people bought the book, but don't be one of them. Don't, you know what I mean? Okay. Zoom, they're getting Asian fusion food. Pizza's off work early, so he'll be joining us for this. She went for a walk and then talked to someone on the phone and then drove home. So that's the issue. Is like, why would you drive an hour away to walk and talk on the phone? You step outside. I know she likes privacy, though. She's still kind of antisocial, I think. Pete's Zoom is scratching every hole in his face. And she has had some edibles, just a few. And the edibles kick in around the 30-minute mark. And then somebody plants in the chat, you guys should go for a drive. That was... Only an asshole would, like... That's kind of a trolley thing, I think. Like, yeah, who's going to suggest to someone who looked the way she looked in that video that she get behind the wheel of a car? Like, it wouldn't be a supporter. Because nobody... I don't even, I don't even think a hater would suggest. Because that's not just reckless for her. That's reckless for everybody if she gets in a car when she's not well. Everybody. Zoom. Lots of silence again. A lot of silence in it. At 1 hour, they're eating. Pete sits back to have some Kit Kats while she's up front beezing. Whenever she's beezing, she'll talk about traveling to Europe and going to see her aunt, Jamaica, like all these other things she wants to do. She dreams out loud a lot when she's high. She talks about the kind of life she wants to have. And it's not sad. It's not sad, exactly. But it's, from the outside in, a little... It's not frustrating. I mean, I don't know her. It's kind of like watching someone run around inside a burning building. And you're like, there's like a way out. Like, just run that way. And they're running the other direction because they're so twisted in their head they can't, like, see a way out. And I'm no mentor. I'm not leading anybody out of illness, necessarily. But, I don't know. It just seems like things aren't, maybe aren't going well. What looks like it could be freedom and finding myself and an awakening and taking on life and living in the moment. Is it, like, liberating and free, or is this, like, reckless and like, not good and not okay to do? So, Zoom, staring and high. Not really even talking to the chat. Zoom, somebody's trashing pizza on Twitter in real time during it. Number 5, I love live streams. Video this week on Monday? Ha! You say. It's been 3 weeks and there's been no videos on Monday. I barely remember last night. She says that a lot because she doesn't remember, like, the last 2 hours of the stream. And you all bees when I'm high. I assume bees means complain or shake fingers or the like. It's okay. We can't talk about this with food because there's a well-honed argument that comes back from the plus-size mukbang community. Hence, because Chantal, I guess we can say, used to be a mukbanger. Is that fair to say now? That you can't tell fat people what to eat on TV. You have to eat. It's not the same kind of addiction. Okay, that makes sense. If someone comes on camera and has a glass of wine or two and talks with their friends on live stream, whatever. If they put down a bottle of Jack, an entire bottle of Jack, and look rather intoxicated, there's a little bit of a difference, you know, I think in terms of the volume of it. Do I think that YouTube should flag it and take it down for abuse and this and that? I'll leave that to YouTube and the people who I'm sure reported it. That's not my battle to fight. Honestly, that's not one that I'm willing to take on for Chantal or anybody else. I don't honestly report anything. I saw nothing. I don't report. So that's a lie. I reported a video once because there was like a racial slur in it or something. So again, the Pete's trashing ends. Let's see. She was vibing. This is the bees part that with the subscriber. She was vibing and people were ruining her buzz. She started recording a blog and decides she likes the communication in the lives better. Fine. Next, I'm in a rut. Next, I'll film when the time is right. No, I'm not high. I'm just tired and groggy. I'm not drunk. I just have an inner ear infection. That's why I can't stand up. It's hard with high because it can masquerade as that. And you know, what do you say? She has the munchies. She's a large woman who likes to eat a lot. Not at the moment with the Ozempic, but one could argue I've been morbidly obese. I always looked like I had the munchies because I was eating all the time. I don't know. People in her chats are not having it. They're not happy. They're saying that her life right now is just sex, edibles, and live streaming. You know, and if you don't like it, oh well. Okay. Zoom zoom, she is not moving out. I guess there's a rumor mill. She is not depressed. She seems surprised that people could have a negative view of the choices she's making. That people would be surprised, who've known her for years, that she would be using any drug. You can replace, let's just replace the fact that she's using edibles. Let's say she was having alcohol. And say she was having large amounts of it a few nights a week and getting on lives. That would be concerning. Not necessarily because alcohol's legal or because you would think Chantal was turning into a problem drinker or anything, though it might look like that, and maybe she would reflect on that and think about it. But the drug is different, and maybe not perceived as dangerous, and not as physically dangerous. You know, she's not going to probably develop cirrhosis or anything from, you know, gummy bears. But in terms of her own mental health and her own health, is it helping? Is it hurting? Is it helping? You know, is she using it to relax or using it to escape? And what is she escaping if that's what it's for? You know, the bigger mental health stuff that is too big to tackle. Even, you know, she talks about her groups as being, the lives as being therapeutic. Fine. Social connectedness is therapeutic. But it's not the only thing that goes, I think, into... It's part of the bigger picture of treatment and healing. Healing more than anything else. And an echo chamber doesn't help any of us either. I'm glad that she could... Well, we'll talk in a second. About feedback, criticism, insults, and the like. I'm trying to keep it moving because she had a full week and we got to roll. So, she complained about Pete's a little bit. We do everything together, eat, live stream. Sometimes I just want to be by myself. It feels like I come home to a boyfriend. Well, they were boyfriends and he lives there now, so it might be weird. I think we should go to Starbucks. Go to Starbucks, go for a walk, go shopping. I heard this before. What to make for dinner? Zoom zoom, who knows? Zoom, Chantal leaves for Starbucks. She's taking the stairs again. It just makes me upset when I see big folks taking the stairs. Because I know it's hard, and I know... It doesn't make me upset at her that she, like, let herself go or anything and got big. It's just an upsetting thing for me to watch. 600-pound life is upsetting for me. Because even if the person is a complete asshole, I know that hurts. I know it's embarrassing and it's frustrating when you're so big that you can barely move. And I kind of remember that. I was never as big as Chantal was. Or as some of these other folks were. I mean, obviously I was never 600 pounds. But I remember. And it's lousy. It's lousy. I don't care what game somebody spits about being body positive or not giving a shit what other people think. It hurts being that fat. It hurts physically being that fat. It just does. Let's see. Zoom zoom. What should I get at Starbucks? Forget it. The rest of it's stupid. Next, we're going for a walk. Out in the daylight she is. Always challenge yourself, Chantal. She drives away because she has to use the bathroom. She just chased the freaking bathroom for the whole goddamn thing. Rest stops are closed. She continues to hunt for a bathroom. Eventually she says she'll hold it. She gives up. She goes for a walk. She sees some Canadian geese. Zoom, zoom. I think I won't take you guys walking every day. I've filmed when I've walked before. My arm gets tired and she has a rather generously proportioned arm. So, stands to reason, I guess. Number 7, who's Beezin? This is 4 hours long. 13,000 hellos. Wanted to clean and order groceries, and she was on the phone for 2 hours with a Croatian guy. He's into masks. Not safety masks. Ski masks. Probably the nylon ones where your nose and eyes stick out. I suspect she's into some kinkier stuff, because I don't know how one could attract so many kinky men in one way. Like, she has a very narrow kind of gentleman she tends to come across, you know, and I don't know. Anyway, have fantasy to be with a guy in a mask? Never. I would never. I'd feel like it was a home invasion. I'd scream. Zoom. She's not hungry and Peace doesn't feel well. So at 40 minutes, they don't have any food. At 1 hour, she's completely baked. It begins. Pete gets tired and goes back upstairs. Then she talks about someone saying she has a toxic personality. And she says, maybe I have toxic parts of my personality. And then she talks about not being a liar and the difference between breaking a promise and lying. And she says, breaking a promise isn't a lie because I have good intentions. Oh, the persuasion and rhetoric involved in that. I'm not going to dig into that because that could be a half-hour video of its own, just teasing that apart. But, okay. Zoom, zoom. If you have thick, gorgeous hair, please feel fortunate. I know. Zoom, weirdest food combination, ketchup, chips, and French onion rings. This is what happens when it gets stoned. The conversations get, like, dumber and dumber and more lighthearted, sure. I mean, better that than fighting about Charlie Gold or wigs or some dumb shit. You know, better this than that, I guess. But, you know, some chunk of 80,000 people just aren't into it, I guess. Zoom, zoom. What to order? What to get? They get McDonald's. 8, 420 Beezin. Okay. She's baked, feeling good. It's 420. Certainly she's not the only person. But she's been celebrating 420 for about the last 2 weeks, to be fair. Step up my game. What do you guys want to see? She's open. She's stoned. So she's receptive to criticism and she can muscle it. You know, it's not... She lives in a world where she thinks she should be criticism kind of... Not criticism free, but she moves the goalpost with what is criticism, what is shaming, and what is hate speech and stuff like that. She moves it depending on how sensitive I think she feels that day. That's not unique to Chantal. It's at least not unique to me, but it's not unique to Chantal. I know people that do it. I've seen it. I've done it myself. It's a human thing for some of us, and some of us do it way more than others. So she's receptive to this, and she's on cloud 9. People say they want to see less drugs. They want to see some cooking. They want to see story times and some real world stuff out of the house. Zoom to 39 minutes on this 420 Beezin video. Chantal mentions our channel, SmokeySteveAndMarc. I'll be honest, I was a little bit flattered. I was kind of like, you think the reactors probably watch your channel, and then you listen for little cues when you're watching for the next reaction, and you think, do they watch it? What would they think? Would they like it? Would they hate it? Would they strike the channel? You don't expect a reactor to say, oh, thanks, you talked shit about me really well. The last thing you expect from a channel about your reaction is a thank you. So, we're not going for that. She did say she thought, and I wrote down the quote, nothing bad or insulting, just reviewing my boring week. I try to make your boring week seem a little less boring, I hope. But if she is watching or listening, thank you, Chantal, for taking the time to watch and for being open-minded enough to listen. I know 40 minutes, there's nothing to see but my face going around. To listen to what I had to say. And to be open enough to hear what I had to say and not immediately say troll, hater, trash talker, whatever. So, thank you. I appreciate that. And I appreciate that you weren't insulted, because it's not my intention to do. Now let me go back to judging every aspect of your life, okay? So zoom, lives are therapeutic to me. We talked about this. Social support's good for mental health, but it's like a piece of a bigger thing. Zoom, my eyes are glassy. Zoom, she's putting vitamins in her pill box. Pill box is a great tool for anybody with mental health concerns or any other medical needs. I have a pill box. It's fantastic. Zoom, her poutines had been exposed, okay? They were set free. And then her food is here. And she got like barbecue and mac and cheese and shit like that. 9, boy drama. She's in the new good dress again. She's like, boy, do I have some tea. So she's spilling back and forth between Nicholas, who's the guy who blew her off, who she told off, and is supposed to have nothing to do with anymore at this point, and this Egyptian guy she's talking to, who's kind of pushy, kind of controlling, she's kind of attracted to. English as a second language, I think she likes that in a guy. It seems to be a trend, anyway. And this Nicholas guy blocked her, okay? And from all social media. So she texted him, and then he was like apologetic because he had canceled plans on her a few times, and then, suggested maybe getting together again. And she was really vibing with him as far as she's concerned. They met very briefly, but she felt very strongly, very fast. And then the Egyptian guy, who I don't like worth a damn. Personal opinion, I, Steve. I don't speak for everybody, but I don't like him now. And I don't like Nicholas either. And frankly, I don't like Karate Joe. I don't like a lot of the men in her life. The only one I like is Pete's. What does that say? So both of these guys, she's going back and forth, back and forth. Eventually, what ends up happening, she talks about the Egyptian guy like the kind of guy I would want to smack. Pushy, bossy, tells me what to do. Okay. Was mad I didn't want to go over yesterday. Asked me to move in. No. If you think I'm the